Hi, this is Edward Troxel. In today's tutorial, we're going to look at a forum request that was added. You can see the forum post, and the post will be listed in the description. But it was requesting to basically make a ladder stair step of events so that each event on each subsequent track that was selected would be scooted over a set amount of space, and we wanted that amount of space to be variable, and we wanted the direction to be either up or down, so that would be variable as well. And so this one requires a form. And so let's take a look at everything that's required to make this work, and you can also download the script in that post. So in this particular case, we actually needed a form, and we just created a form here that had the name ladder stair step events. Then we had a direction, and I put in, if we come into edit items, you can see the two options are up and down, and I set the default to down. And then here we have the distance. This can be changed to any value you want as the default. I just set it for 2 seconds just to have something to test with. And then we have the cancel button, which will cancel us out of the form, or we have the OK button, which will process all of the events and then exit us out of the form. So here's the actual code behind the script. I started with my basic test script with form. Naturally, this could be renamed to whatever you wanted it to be. And then down here we have our public Vegas, my Vegas. Then under form 1, it just sets the my Vegas variable and calls the initialize component, which draws the form. Then, if you come down here, this is when we click on cancel. It would just call close to close out the form. If we click on OK, this is going to do all the work and then close the form. So, the first thing we need to do is figure out what our first track is. So I'm assuming we're going down to begin with. So I set our first track equal to 0. And then I set our last track equal to myvegas.project.tracks.count. Now normally I would set this to -1, but I need a way to go either forward or backward and be able to get out of the loop. I want to be able to get out of the loop when it equals this number here. And so it needs to be one more than what I'm looking for. And then I'm setting my adder equal to a +1. I also got my single distance as a time code from my text box on the form. So my text distance timecode.text, and I'm getting a timecode.from string and setting that into single distance. Now, this is assuming I'm going down. If I want to go up instead, I need to check to see if my combo box direction.text is equal to up. I just went ahead and put .2 lower here and then put this in lowercase. That way, depending on how I typed in the word into the combo box, whether it's capital or lower, it doesn't matter. So here I set my first track equal to my last track -1. So that would be myvegas.project.tracks.count. And like I said, normally I would set this to -1. Well, here I'm getting it to -1. Now normally I would set my last track equal to 0, but like I said, I want to go one more, so I'm setting it equal to -1, and then I'm changing the adder to -1. And that way, it'll let me go either direction. Next, I'm setting me a move distance variable. I'm setting that to timecode.fromSecond0, basically a 0 time code. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use this variable as the total distance that I'm actually moving the event. Where this is a single distance, this is going to be multiple single distances. So next I'm going to go through my tracks. So for an integer, I equals first track. And then this one's a little different. I'm doing I is not equal to last track. So as soon as it equals the last track, we're going to jump out. Normally, we would use a greater than or equal to or less than or equal to or something like that. I'm actually using a not equal to in this particular case. And then I equals I plus adder. Typically, we either have I plus plus or I minus minus there. But in this case, I'm adding this adder value, which can be either +1 or -1, depending on which direction I'm going. The next thing I have to do is get the actual track that I'm looking at. So I get a track, my track equals myvegas.project.tracks, and I want the ith track. Then I need to know, did I find something on this track? If I did, then I need to increase my move distance for the next track. If I didn't, then I don't. I'm setting me a Boolean variable called found1 equal to false. Then I'm going to go through each event in myTrack.events, and if this event is selected, then I'm going to scoot this event over its start time to its start time plus the move distance. I really don't need the parentheses there, so we can go ahead and remove those. I was doing something else previously that needed parentheses. Then, because I found one, I set found1 equal to true. Now, if I found one after this loop, I'm done with that loop. I've gone through every event. Now, if I found one, then I'm going to set my move distance equal to the move distance plus the single distance. So the reason I set my move distance initially equal to 0 is because I don't want to move the first one, but I do want to move the second and third and fourth and fifth and so on. And so each track, I'm going to move it a little bit farther, so my move distance equals move distance plus single distance. And then if we scroll down, you can see all the code necessary to create the form. And then this is our base entry point, which is needed to get the call from Vegas. So let's see how this code here works. Here I have created me several events on the timeline. I have them all selected, and so when I run this, it's going to work on selected events, so it's going to work on every one of these tracks. So if we go run the script, so here's the script. We have the options of up or down. I want it to go down. I want to start at the top and work my way down, scooting them over as we go down. And then I have set the distance to 2 seconds, so when we run this, notice the top one did not move at all, and then each subsequent one has moved over by 2 seconds. So if we undo that and run it again, this time let's choose up. Now it's going to start at the bottom and work its way up. And we can see that each one on its way up moved over 2 seconds. Well, this little script here lets us get the stair-step pattern that this person was asking for. And so it turned out to be a fairly easy little script. Basically, you just need to move the event start over the distance that it needs to be moved. The problem is the distance needs to increase each time for each track. And if we had multiple events selected on each track, they would have all been moved the same distance that they were supposed to be moved. So give this a try. See how it works for you, and you can modify it as needed. Let me know what scripts you'd like to see in the future. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next tutorial. Please sign up at www.jettv.com and subscribe on YouTube to get further notifications on when new videos are presented.